So quick update on the big turbo STI that I'm working on. My STI. This thing is such a pain. I should have listened. I was being an idiot. I should have never stuck with stock location. If anything, I should have kept the BCP X500R. I decided to go with the GTX3576R Gen 2 because I was like, ooh, bigger turbo, more power. I'm an idiot. I don't know why I stuck with that. I should have went rotated. I have spent more money trying to keep it stock location and modifying it to fit that turbo than a rotated kit would have cost. A rotated kit would have cost less than what I've spent trying to get this to fit, modifying the parts, and then buying extra parts just to make that thing fit. So we'll start, really. So just to make the TGV fit, those are 19 millimeter spacers. I had 8 millimeter, 6 millimeter, 4 millimeter. None of those work. I had to get the largest ones you can fit, or largest ones that are made. They're made by Torque Solutions. They're 19 millimeter spacers. They worked. I also had to switch out my inlet. I had the KillerB one. I had the KillerB hard inlet. I also had the AMR hard inlet. That didn't work. I kept finding out none of the hard inlets were ever going to work. I've had to find out the hard way. So now I'm on my 5th inlet. It's the Torque Solutions 3-inch inlet. It is crushed. That is normal, apparently. You have to crush the silicone inlet to make it work in the stock location, unless you're getting a TGV delete, and not just any TGV delete. You have to get the AMS intake manifold with no TGVs to make this fit. That is why, like Josh Bader and all of them say, don't go stock location with anything bigger than the stock size inlet. That's why the BCP X500R would have been perfect. But I decided to be dumb. So that is where I'm at. Just that alone, just finding all the mistakes to try to make this work. That alone costs almost $1,000 in just mistakes of trying to find different brackets to work, different spacers, different inlets. And the thing is, not everyone, right now, you can Google it right now. You will not find anyone running this turbo. And if you do, it's the internally gated one. It's a different size. I found that out too. Some people were like, oh, you can make it fit. And they'd send me their suggestions, and they are not the externally wastegated 3576R Gen 2. There's only like one other person, but they don't have any photos of it. And I bet you if you ask them if it went well, it probably didn't go as well. This is normal. You have to crush that. You can't put a hard inlet there. So the KillerB inlet did not work. Neither did the AMR inlet. I sold that AMR one to my little brother. His STI is done. He did it in like a week. I know I'm on like 7th month now. But then you also have to get the spacers for the fuel rail. So the IAG fuel rails. Just so they'll clear the VCS pumps. I had to get 19 millimeter ones just to get the inlet to fit. So that's gonna cost you quite a bit just to modify. That's all I'm saying. If I just got a rotated kit, I would have spent just the same amount or a little less. The other thing is I have to get a new downpipe. See how that's a divorced downpipe? It's not an open bell mouth. So with the stock turbo, you had the internal wastegate dumping into that separate pipe, and then you have the main exhaust housing for the bell mouth. This is actually hitting or preventing my dump pipe from going into the location it needs to. So it's actually very close to different, I don't know if you could even see that. So those lines here, I'm guessing that's the power steering lines, or yeah, I'm pretty sure that's power steering lines. It's sitting right on top of it. I have to put heat wrap around it for now until I can get a new downpipe. Again, now additional cost just to make this work, where a rotated kit would have came with it all. New downpipe. So new downpipe will have to go in just to make the dump tube work. You also have to get a different styled. So I had an Uppipe with an external wastegate, got another Grimmspeed Uppipe, and really, like I said, it's been a pain just to try to get this to work. I have no idea if it's truly going to work. I haven't even started it. It's been a pain just to get this to fit. I still got to put the intake manifold on, run the boost lines. That's another thing with this too. It doesn't have a boost reference. You got to create your own boost reference on the silicone tube. So I got to do that. And then I was dumb. I thought I could relocate this to there, so I actually have the new pitch stop mount. And I moved it to the pitch stop, only to realize it was hitting my intercooler piping. So I had to take the intercooler piping all off. Turns out that only works if you have a rotated kit and you can hang it off there. Yeah, that was my bad. That was all my fault. I should have looked more into it. That was never gonna work. So I had to relocate it. I have the competition top, so I had to cut a little piece there to make that work because you don't want it to sit too low. Plus, sitting too low, it hits the wiring harness. So I just cut a piece of the cowling off to make the dump tube for the competition AOS work. So there's a lot of modifications you got to do to make this work. Again, it's such a pain, but I'm already invested into it. I have to make this work just to make it worth it. We'll be pushing, I got the about the 15 pound spring in there. We're aiming for 30 pounds of boost on this for the initial tune, because I'm not too sure how much this motor can hold. I know it's an IAG stage 2 block, but we're gonna go a little safer on that. So 30 pounds of boost is what we're aiming for, and that should be started by next weekend. We'll get it done. That is the update on the Subaru. It has not been an easy process. Trying to make that Garrett GTX 3576R Gen 2 fit was probably a mistake that I'll learn now. Well, it's a very expensive mistake, and I don't think I'll ever go to a stock location one again, or if I do, I'll get the BCP X500R again instead of selling it like an idiot and returning the other one. So if you ever had to modify your Subaru STI, definitely go rotated or buy the BCP X500R. It'll fit in the stock location, stock inlet, cost a lot less headache. But I'll get this done. That's where I'm at with the Subaru. It's almost done. I'm getting there. More parts to install, more parts to sell, because a lot of that parts aren't going to go on the car. Oh, lightweight flywheel, new clutch. Okay, I guess maybe I'm not done. I'm nowhere near done. Got more parts.